So this is a story about importance of documentation, right? And this is something which has happened very in reality. Okay. This is a project manager who is a tough taskmaster. And if you're a tough taskmaster, right? Wait, let me answer Martha's question. I mean, detail. What you mentioned, very regular monitoring can help early detection before they escalate to the bigger problems. Absolutely true. Stitch in time saves nine. We have been hearing this proverb since childhood. Stitch in time saves nine. But we let go that nine and we let go that entire garment itself at times when you don't monitor. Yeah, so let me go back to this project documentation story, which I would like to share it with all of you. So this is a project manager who is very tough taskmaster, almost perfectionist. And you must have seen it's very difficult to work with perfectionist people because their perfection level does not deviate as per the task. Their perfection level is always same. So it so happened that he actually scolded one of his project execution persons so much that he felt, I'm getting humiliated on personal level. And he decided to teach a lesson to this project manager. So he didn't quit the job. What he did is he simply hid his project documents elsewhere in the organization. Everyone was asking, hey, where is that file? He said, oh, I'm not able to find. Hey, where is that file? Oh, I'm not able to find. And the project started getting questioned because, oh, do you have this guy who is humiliated was working in a purchase department. So as you all are aware, in a manufacturing setup, you need to get a purchase order, and then only purchase department will finally order the uh, items and give it to you. So this guy has said that, oh, I don't have any purchase order, so how can I order it? It's became so much big problem that nobody was able to figure out where the purchase orders are. The documentation said till the last point, everything was pointing out to this guy who is not ready to share his documentation part. The moment they realize that we are getting stuck, they realize that the project, we are not able to monitor it very well because we are not sure how many items we have ordered, how many items are there in the inventory, and how much time we will get to get these orders in hand to complete the project. This project manager finally went and spoke to that guy one-on-one and said, hey, please don't jeopardize my entire project because I was very bad. The project is good. I'm very sorry. But can I have the documentation? And you won't believe that guy was equal perfectionist. He handed over the entire file to him. He also said that all the documents are there. All the items I've already ordered, and we will have the project done in time. I would like you to tell you that it's not people who don't work, but to create the documentation, it takes time. And as a project manager, please allow us to complete the documentation as well, because otherwise it becomes a huge problem. And he agreed to that getting the task done is the easy most thing, but getting the task documented is a most tougher thing. And that's where the story ends. How many of you agree that completing the task or doing the task is easy, but documenting that task is much difficult? How many of you agree to this? How many of you agree to this? Yes, Martha? Please unmute and speak.
I am actually agreeing to your sentiments.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else here who feels that documentation is a process which is very important, but it's equally tedious. It's equally tedious. It's equally tedious. So why I feel that this slide is something which you can, take away of entire session, because this slide talks about each of the phase in the project, and it talks about the kind of bare minimum documents which you should have. One of the cohorts actually shared to me that they have documentation managers in big projects. Anyone who has got documentation managers, so that the documentation part is done absolutely great. Mega projects actually have documentation managers, huge projects which run into more than 1, 2 or 3 years. Anyone who is having separate people to document things? Anyone here who is having separate people to document things? Okay. So let's begin with the basic documents. So we'll talk about project initiation. Okay. And an initiation, as the name suggests, it begins the entire project with the initiation phase. So to begin the project, we need to have a business case. Business case talks about why we are taking this particular project itself. What kind of an ROI does it generate? What kind of a scope does it have? What kind of goals, strategic goals are being met? And that is a part of business case. Apart from that business case, you also have a project summary, which involves the budget, the projected outcomes, the projected ROI, and it also talks about the kind of resources which you need. Then we have project charter. And as you are aware, project charter is a first major document which is signed by both the parties. That is all the key stakeholders as well as the project organization. And then we have assumption log. Apart from that, we also have kickoff meeting agenda. Now, kickoff meeting agenda essentially talks about all the agreements where in the meeting which has happened and the points which are discussed in that particular meeting. All this is also documented. Then we move to the next phase called project planning. In project planning, we have project management plan. We also have work breakdown structure. Then we have project budget. We have project schedule. How we are going to manage the change if at all been asked. We have scope management plan and risk management plan. Risk, scope, change are three plan documents or management plan documents, which are very, very essential in this particular phase. And to create this document, it takes at least months together to make it perfect if the project is big. Then we are going to talk about project execution. So when we talk about project execution, we talk about project status report. We talk about how many lessons we have learned, how many deviations we are able to turn back, and kind of process improvements which we were able to deploy. We talk about timesheets, change requests, and change orders, which are also documented very well in this. Then we talk about monitoring and control. So there is a status report. We also have timesheets. And last but not least is a closure template along with a punch list. So project documentation is done as per the organization's requirement, organization's processes, and environment. Based on that, this documentation is going to take place. Any doubts so far, my friends? Any doubts so far? Any doubts so far? Clear? Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Anyone else? Can I get two more confirmation that all the documentation part is clear so far? Can I get one more confirmation? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nakutula. Thank you so much, Ian. Yes, Shamir, please unmute and help me if you have a doubt. If you have a doubt.
Okay, it's not really a doubt, but just a confirmation on
Okay.
whether the project execution and the project monitoring and control phases. Actually, I think the project monitoring and control happens during the project execution. So
Yeah.
is it right that the two reports actually the same? The documentation is expected during the two phases. Because when I
Okay.
look at the presentation, I noticed that the project execution and project monitoring and control, they are more or less the same documentations expected. Thank you.
Okay. There are almost same, but there are two or three nuances which one needs to take. When we talk about status report, the status report also has variances notified, which are used for control. And hence, you will find in both the cases, execution and monitoring and control, the phases are together. The phases are together. But in case of monitoring and control, the project status report varies because it begins with the initiation phase. The project status at the initiation phase will be different than the project status report in the time of execution. Am I clear here? So in case of monitoring and control, the project status report has phase wise. So in initiation phase, what was the status of business case? What was the status of project? How much time and what are the lessons you have learned while making your business case is documented. The monitoring and control project status report also has a planning as a separate status where it talks about the kind of change management plans you have devised and how you are going to monitor them. So that documentation is also done in project monitoring and control. Timesheets are same. Timesheets are almost same for project execution and monitoring and control. I hope I have answered your question, Shamir. I
Yes,
hope
sure
I
you
have
have
answered.
sure you have
Thank you.
answered, but just one more request. Okay,
Okay.
maybe at the end of the session, are you able to kindly share with us the
Yeah, the
maybe the
names are
template?
similar. Thank you so much for asking. And you are the first one to ask me this question. So thank you so much. Henceforth, I'll add phase-wise status report. That will be much, much clearer. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much.